So tell your dead mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my motherfucking mama. What's wrong with you?
Responded by disrespecting T.I.'s family, more specifically T.I.'s wife, Tiny. 50 took to Instagram and posted a not so flattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny. She looks like, you know, in a bad angle and her body looks a little off. It's like a bad angle.
After 50 Cent dropped that picture of T.I.'s wife on Instagram, things took a wild turn fast. T.I.'s son, King Harris, fired back in a way that left a lot of people stunned. Word spread that he posted an image of 50's mother's grave and told him to go dig her up. That response instantly sent shockwaves across social media. And everybody knows one thing about 50 Cent. He rarely lets disrespect slide. Once that grave post started circulating, people knew this situation was about to heat up. Now 50 is aiming straight at King Harris over that move, and the whole situation is spinning out of control fast. Here's where it all kicked off. On February 22nd, 2026, 50 Cent jumped on Instagram and posted a picture of Tiny Harris performing on stage. But the photo was rough. The angle looked strange and the lighting did her no favors at all, and it didn't feel random either. Many viewers believed that specific image was picked on purpose to make her look bad. And considering 50's long track record of trolling online, that idea spread across the internet almost instantly. Instead of dropping the post in stories where it disappears after a day, he placed it right on his main feed. That meant the photo would sit there for everyone to see, comment on, and debate whenever they wanted. The caption was short but sharp. It read, "I keep saying keep my name out your mouth." Okay. No tags, no long explanation, nothing extra. Just that one line sitting there like a clear warning. Most people took it as a direct shot at T.I., even though Tiny was the one shown in the photo. The message felt aimed straight at him, and fans picked up on that immediately.
Say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead. Dig her up. Go dig her up. Post a picture of your mama because she dead. Pay respect. It's my mama like your mama ain't dead as Go put some flowers on that grave. Posting my mama a legend. Your mama Jay.
Here's what really caught people's attention. Tiny had not been publicly going after 50. She was not doing interviews calling him out. She was not jumping into comment sections throwing shade. She stayed out of the back and forth. Because of that, many viewers felt like her image was being used as a message aimed at T.I., especially since T.I. had been bringing up those Verzus battle conversations lately. And it's important to remember who Tiny Harris is. She is not only known as T.I.'s wife, she is a founding member of Escalation, one of the biggest R&B groups of the 90s. The group delivered huge hits like Just Kickin' It and Who Can I Run To, and helped shape an entire era of music. Tiny has spent decades building her own name in the industry. From music success to television appearances and business ventures, she built her own brand and reputation over time. But with that one post sitting on a massive Instagram page, years of accomplishments suddenly got overshadowed by a single awkward moment frozen online. And that shrug emoji at the end did not go unnoticed either. It made the whole thing feel casual, almost like posting someone's worst angle to millions of followers was just another regular day on social media. The reaction came quickly. T.I.'s oldest son did not respond with a joke or a meme. He went straight to a personal jab. King Harris, who was 21 at the time, jumped into the comment section under 50's post and wrote, "Where you, mama?" The message instantly caught attention and pushed the situation into even more serious territory. Anyone who knows 50 Cent's history understood instantly why that comment hit so hard. His mother, Sabrina Jackson, passed away in 1983 when he was still a child. So the moment her name got dragged into a public comment section, the whole situation took a heavy turn. But it didn't stop there. Reports started spreading that King Harris pushed things even further. He allegedly posted a photo of Sabrina Jackson's headstone on his own Instagram page. The image clearly showed her name along with the years 1958 to 1983, making the moment even more serious. He then tagged 50 directly and wrote, "Yo, and dig up your mama." Another version people circulated read, "This, where your mama at?" Once those messages started moving across social media, the tone of the entire situation changed fast. At that point, this was no longer simple trolling online. 50 had posted an unflattering image of Tiny. King fired back with something far more personal. Within hours, what started as regular internet shade turned into something much deeper. Hip-hop has seen plenty of heated rivalries before, but many watching said this one felt different. It pulled family members, painful memories, and old wounds into the spotlight for millions of people to see. And the wildest part, the root of all this tension traces back to a Verzus battle that was supposed to celebrate music. That Verzus battle that never happened now sits right at the center of the drama. According to T.I., the conversation actually started in Los Angeles, while both artists were busy working on television and film projects.
First, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and them talk back. We were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows while we were around each other, man, you know what I mean? I said, what you think about this? I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up.
T.I. said someone brought up the Verzus idea, and he and 50 talked about it face-to-face. According to him, they even discussed how it would play out. But after that meeting, he claims 50 suddenly stopped responding. T.I. later explained the situation on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with DailyTeaTalk and Wallow, laying out the timeline step by step. In his version of the story, the plan was simple. Two well-known artists stepping up to celebrate their catalogs. No drama, no sneak shots, just music and respect for the craft. At first, 50 Cent was reportedly on board with the idea. The rollout was mapped out clean. T.I. would go public first and challenge him to Verzus. Then 50 would confirm it publicly and they would build excitement from there. Smooth plan, clear blueprint. But when T.I. stepped out and made the challenge public like they discussed, 50 did not back it up. Instead, he acted like that conversation never even happened. Suddenly, it looked like T.I. had just randomly called him out with no warning at all. That moment is when everything shifted for T.I. For him, it stopped being about Verzus completely. It became about principle. From T.I.'s perspective, if 50 simply did not want to do the battle, that would have been fine. Just be honest about it. But agreeing privately and then moving differently once the spotlight hits, that was the part that did not sit right with him. You could hear how personal it felt when T.I. spoke about the situation. At first, he sounded open to sharing a stage with 50 Cent and celebrating their music catalogs together. But after everything unfolded, his tone changed completely. It went from possible collaboration to wanting nothing to do with him at all. Not as collaborators, not as peers, and definitely not as two men standing in the same room without tension. But from 50's perspective, the picture looked very different. For years, 50 had been publicly brushing off the Verzus idea. He made it clear he believed Verzus had its big moment during the pandemic. Since then, his focus shifted toward bigger moves. Television shows, film projects, and brand deals. The last album he dropped came out back in 2014. At this stage, music was not his main grind anymore. In his mind, that chapter had already closed. So when T.I. started calling him out publicly, 50 responded in classic 50 style. Short captions, sharp tone, and heavy trolling energy all over social media. He kept posting, "Keep my name out your mouth" across Instagram, often throwing in the shrug emoji while sharing memes that made T.I. look like someone chasing attention. The message was clear. 50 was presenting himself as completely unbothered while framing T.Y. as the one pushing the issue. But things escalated even further when 50 started using the phrase "king rat" while referring to T.Y. in comment sections. In street culture, that label carries serious weight. It suggests someone cooperated with law enforcement, and accusations like that can damage a person's reputation quickly.
But that nigga act like he ain't know what the going on. I don't even want to, man. Cause now I question your character. Man, that shit ain't gonna happen. That shit ain't gonna happen, man. I don't want to stand on stage. Just standing on stage with that.
I was not about to let that slide. He fired back directly, writing, "You playing on my name when only one of us a rat in real life. You know I got your paperwork right." After that, he challenged 50 again. Either step into the Verzus ring or back away from the situation completely. By the time February 22nd arrived, the tension had already been building for weeks. It was spreading through podcast interviews, Instagram posts, comment section shots, and subtle jabs flying back and forth. What started as a possible celebration of two music catalogs slowly turned into a messy public feud, and that feud eventually pulled in family members who had nothing to do with the original disagreement. That is exactly where the story of Sabrina Jackson becomes important. To understand why King Harris's response shocked so many people in the hip-hop world, you have to understand who Sabrina Jackson was and the painful history connected to her. This was not a situation where someone passed away peacefully with closure for the family. The reality is far more tragic. Sabrina Jackson lost her life, and the case surrounding her death was never officially solved. Sabrina Jackson was born around 1958 in South Jamaica, Queens, New York City. She gave birth to Curtis Jackson, who the world now knows as 50 Cent, when she was just 15 years old. From the very beginning, she raised him on her own. There was no stable partner helping her through it, no easy path, just a young mother in a tough neighborhood doing everything she could to survive and take care of her child. According to 50 Cent's own stories over the years, the death of Sabrina Jackson was both tragic and suspicious. He has repeatedly explained that someone may have slipped something into her drink inside her apartment, causing her to lose consciousness. After that, the gas in the apartment was reportedly turned on. The result was devastating. She died from carbon monoxide exposure and the fire that followed. When authorities arrived at the scene, it was reportedly treated as a possible homicide. A drugged victim and gas lines that appeared to be tampered with pointed investigators toward foul play. But here's the unsettling part. No one was ever publicly arrested. No official suspect was ever named. No clear motive was ever confirmed. More than 4 decades later, the case is still unresolved. There have been no widely reported public updates that brought closure to the investigation. Much of what people know about Sabrina Jackson's death comes directly from 50 Cent himself through interviews and personal reflections over the years. After Sabrina passed away, 8-year-old Curtis Jackson had to move in with his maternal grandparents. He grew up in South Jamaica, Queens, in a packed household filled with extended family members under one roof. His biological father was not part of his life, so his grandparents became the foundation that helped raise him. In interviews, 50 has spoken openly about how losing his mother shaped his mindset. He once explained that whenever life felt like it was going wrong, a thought would cross his mind. If my mother was here, it wouldn't be like that. That loss stayed with him through every stage of his life. He even carries a permanent tribute on his body. On his right forearm is a tattoo that reads Sabrina alongside the words Ghetto Angel. It's a lasting reminder of the woman who raised him during the first 8 years of his life. Sabrina Jackson was laid to rest at Rockville Cemetery in Lynbrook, Nassau County, New York. That is the grave King Harris located. That is the headstone he photographed. And that is the image he posted to Instagram for millions of people to see. That moment is exactly why so many people reacted strongly when it happened. For a lot of viewers, this wasn't just another online insult thrown around during a rap feud. It touched on an unsolved tragedy, a childhood loss, and the memory of someone's mother being pulled into a public conflict. So one question started circulating everywhere. Why did King Harris feel pushed to go that far? King Harris was 21 years old at the time. His full name is Clifford King Harris Jr., the eldest biological son of T.Y. and Tiny Harris. Born on August 26, 2004 in Atlanta, Georgia, he has lived nearly his entire life under public attention because of the massive career his parents built. Cameras were part of his childhood from the beginning. When T.Y. and Tiny the Family Hustle premiered in 2011, viewers watched the Harris household week after week. His upbringing played out on television while his father navigated public controversies, business deals, and the complicated world of the music industry.
Ask you a question, man. Do you feel any type of pressure?
You know, they say pressure make diamond. You know what I'm saying? I don't fold under pressure, I apply under pressure.
That boy quick on his feet, ain't he?
Yeah, I'm the more, as he was saying, I'm him when he made his most mistakes.
At the same time, King watched his mother celebrated as a founding member of Escape, one of the most successful R&B groups of the 1990s. Fans knew her for hit songs and performances, but inside the home, she was also the center of the family, holding everything together. As he got older, King started building his own path in music. He began releasing songs and freestyles under the name Kid Cyan, leaning into the Atlanta trap sound that surrounded him growing up. Still, to the public, he has always been seen first as T.I.'s son, the firstborn in a tight family that tends to stand together, especially when it comes to defending Tiny. So when 50 Cent posted that unflattering photo of Tiny on his Instagram feed, King didn't view it as simple industry trolling. From his perspective, someone with tens of millions of followers had just put his mother on display in a way he felt crossed a line. Tiny is someone he has publicly called a legend more than once. For him, the moment felt personal. King didn't stop to plan the response. There was no publicist involved, no careful media strategy, and no long pause to calculate the long-term impact. He reacted emotionally. And to be fair, many sons might feel protective seeing their mother criticized in front of millions of people. The real issue wasn't that he responded. The issue was how far that response went. Instead of keeping the focus on the post itself or the Verzus situation or simply firing back with words online, King stepped into much more sensitive territory. He searched for the location of 50 Cent's late mother's grave and shared it publicly. At one point, King even said in a video, "I'm not raised like that. I don't go by my mama." That statement created a heavy layer of irony. Saying, "I'm not raised like that," while telling someone to dig up their deceased mother's remains put him in a complicated position morally. Within hip-hop culture, fans debate plenty of lines during rap feuds. But bringing up someone's deceased parent is widely viewed as one of the deepest forms of disrespect. Even commentators who understood King's anger predicted that serious conversations were probably happening behind closed doors within the Harris family. History shows this territory isn't new in rap conflicts. During the 1990s, Tupac famously claimed he had been involved with Faith Evans during his feud with the notorious B.I.G. Years later, Jay-Z made graphic accusations about Nas' child's mother, Carmen Bryan, on the song Super Ugly. That moment went so far that Jay-Z's own mother reportedly called into Hot 97 and urged him to apologize publicly. The pattern is familiar in rap history. When emotions run high and someone feels their family has been disrespected, the instinct is often to escalate quickly and strike back even harder. But what happens after that escalation can sometimes overshadow the original conflict. The backlash can grow larger than the moment that started it. Jay-Z experienced that lesson back in 2001. Whether King Harris takes away a similar lesson in 2026 is something only time will reveal. While social media was still reacting to the grave photo and King's heated responses, T.I. made a move of his own. Late on February 22nd, rolling into the early hours of February 23, 2026, T.Y. reportedly stepped into the studio and recorded a diss track, positioning it as a direct declaration of war. The production came from DJ Tump, the same producer behind some of T.Y.'s biggest records like What You Know and Bring 'Em Out. The beat carried that classic Atlanta trap energy. Dark melodies layered over heavy bass and sharp percussion. The whole sound felt deliberate, intense, and ready for confrontation. T.I. posted a preview of the track on Instagram with the caption, "You Nayas want war? We on that? Had to write one this time." He also added a duck emoji, referencing earlier comments where he called 50 a duck, slang used to describe someone avoiding a challenge. The preview clip ran somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds. In that short snippet, T.I. delivered sharp, confrontational bars using his unmistakable Atlanta cadence. Even though he never clearly said 50's name in the clip, anyone following the situation knew exactly who the message was aimed at. Some people started speculating about when the track was actually recorded. One theory suggested the record might have already been sitting in the vault for a future project, and the timing just lined up perfectly with the drama. Others believed the opposite, that the song was recorded fresh in the studio, fueled by the intensity of the moment after watching the online clash involving his son. Either way, the timing didn't feel random. Dropping a war-themed diss record just hours after your son had escalated things online guaranteed the situation would stay heated. The hip-hop community quickly split into two different reactions. One side praised T.Y. for responding through music. In rap culture, a diss track is often seen as the most respected way to answer conflict. It turns raw emotion into lyrics and becomes part of hip-hop's permanent history. Supporters pointed to moments like Pusha T's The Story of Adidon and Kendrick Lamar's Meet the Grams as examples of how lyrical battles have always been part of the culture. From that perspective, T.I. was simply doing what an MC is expected to do, handle the problem on wax. But the other side of the conversation saw it very differently. Critics argued that releasing a diss track that quickly looked less like leadership and more like pouring gasoline on the fire. Instead of pulling his son aside privately and cooling things down, they felt T.I. turned the situation into an even bigger spectacle. Rather than stepping back after the grave post controversy, he stepped into the studio and raised the stakes even higher. That debate started getting almost as loud as the conflict itself. Still, one point most people agreed on was how the situation originally began. The first move came when 50 Cent posted that photo of Tiny Harris. Up until that moment, most of the public back and forth between him and T.I. had focused on music, Verzus talk, catalog comparisons, and debates over who had the bigger list of hits.